Want the latest Instagram growth tips? First, let's stop asking, why is my Instagram not growing? And discover 3.5 sneaky reasons why you can't grow on Instagram. In this video, we're going to be sharing tips to grow on Instagram. No more questioning, how can I grow my Instagram or losing followers on the gram? We're sharing Instagram growth strategies, including answering questions relative to growing fast on Instagram and several reasons why your IG account isn't growing. So let's get into it today as we help you step your gram up, as always, on the latest episode of the Social Roundtable. Welcome, everybody, to this is our Monday weekly live episode of the Social Roundtable. Apologize about the delay. A little bit of technical difficulties, but it wouldn't be a Monday morning without it. And I am so glad that we are here, finally live, having you join us on this audience today. As always, this is Heston of Social Varsity, and I am joined by my weekly co-host, Meagen, or you may know her better as Social Media with Meg. What's going on, Meagen?
Well, hello. How's it going? We are here. Sorry, everyone, a couple minutes late. This hasn't said a little technical difficulty there, but hey, we're here and we are grateful that you're here as well. Today, we are talking about all things Instagram growth, and we are so lucky to have a very special guest, Hannah from Sunny Social Collective, and she helps content creators, entrepreneurs, brands, businesses grow their presence online with an engaged community so they can show up confidently and create that content that really attracts and converts their people. So, Hannah, so grateful you're here. Take a moment to say hello to everyone.
Hi, everyone. So happy to be here. Thank you for having me on. Happy Monday. Feels good to start it off this way. So I'm
Yes.
excited.
Heck yes.
Well,
Awesome.
I think we are all excited for today's conversation because I got to say, if there's one question I think all of us get quite often is how to grow on Instagram. It's something that I don't think people will ever stop asking. Even when they grow, they're still going to be asking
Yeah.
how to actually continue growing on Instagram. And it's just going to be one of those things that never ends because there's no limit to how far you could take your audience. But we all understand that there are certain problems going on right now with Instagram that some of us are facing, whether it's personal on our own IG account or something even more grand scale related to Instagram, the platform itself. But nonetheless, we're going to be sharing with you guys a few tips and strategies that we use ourselves, and hopefully you could utilize them to help increase your own Instagram account. As I said, this is the Social Roundtable. We are also joined in the live chat by our moderator, Angela. You can see her, Angela Vasquez. Thank you so much for joining. And we see a few of you guys are also in the live chat as well. Thank you so much. We already have a poll in the live chat right now. So if you guys want to take part in that, go ahead and answer the main question that I have there. And that question is pretty much, do you take breaks from social media? I would love to know. Go ahead, put your answer, whether it's a yes or a no, in the live chat, as well as interact with everybody else. We'll be reading a few of your comments as we lead into our discussion today, all about growing on Instagram. We have 3.5 sneaky reasons why you can't grow on Instagram. But before we get to that, I have a question that I want to ask to both of the ladies here today. So, is everybody ready to get jumped into our conversation here?
Yes.
So ready.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys are ready because I'm going to start bringing the heat right now. And I have a main question that I've been trying to figure out myself because everyone is always focused on growing on Instagram, as we kind of just stated. The faster, the better for most people. But that might be hence why so many people are chasing to go viral and considering, unfortunately, buying followers. So, Hannah, I want to talk to you first and send this question to you. How do you feel about the idea of growing fast on Instagram?
I think it's something that we all think is what we want and what's going to get us what we want. And it's just going to be that, like, almost like instant gratification. And although that's really nice in theory, oftentimes it brings this idea of like quantity versus quality of followers, of the people who are like actually invested in you. And so I think, to me, it's like, sure, it's great. And I had like a few months of like quick growth and things like happening for Sunny Social when, back in the day when reels were new and things like that. And like that was great and it was exciting. But I found even that the people who were following me from like vlogs and things that were more personal to me were much more quality versus these really viral pieces of content. And although it was nice, right, in theory, it wasn't sustainable. and it wasn't something that I felt like I could chase, right? And you shouldn't chase because you will always be disappointed. Every single time you
Yeah.
post, if you have this expectation of it needs to go viral, everyone needs to see it, everyone needs to follow me, why isn't this working? You're constantly going to be disappointed. You're constantly going to be outsourcing your worth of your content to all these people in this like void. And so rather than trying to speak to everyone, speak to your audience, speak to the people you actually want to attract, get to know them, think through who you're speaking to. And so when you're posting with intention rather than posting to go viral. You're posting to go viral. No wonder you hate Instagram, right? Like, no wonder you hate your life, like, because that is a hard game to keep up with. Social media is a long game. If you're trying to play it quick, you are going to be disappointed every time. And that's all I have to say on that.
And that's all I have to say about that. I love that. Yes, I couldn't agree more. I mean, when it comes to like really coming to reality with yourself here of like, okay, it's okay that we all want growth. It's great to have goals and to desire to be able to reach more people. But we have to remember that in order to have sustainable growth, we have to be able to keep up with how much we're showing up, connect with our people, and make sure they're the right people. I mean, like you said, Hannah, I myself had moments of fast growth a couple years ago, like when reels were really taking off. And um, I mean, there were weeks where it was growing like 10,000 followers, and it's from a couple viral reels. And that was great. That was exciting. Even like, even though they were within my niche, those reels, and like within my topics that I talk about and want to be known for, there still were a handful of people that really weren't my target audience. And so that engagement in the long run went down a little bit. And you have to kind of build it back up. So, I mean, if I were to say that, um, like it's not bad to have fast growth, but you have to
Yeah.
understand that even fast growth means that you have to stick with it throughout. It's not like, okay, great, I grew, I'm done. I don't have
Yeah.
to work anymore. Like I sometimes feel like I'm working harder now than I was then. It's ebbs and flows when it comes to the speed of growth and how we grow and what type of content gives us the most growth. And I'm curious from everybody in the audience, give us either a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you currently are looking to grow your following on Instagram. Yes, thumbs up, thumbs down if you're good, happy.
I
And I
love that. I love your responses in regards to that. Yes, go ahead, Hannah.
I was just gonna say, and I think also when you have these spurts of quick growth and virality, it also sets the expectation there, where then you're like, oh, I felt how it is to grow, and I've had this little peak, and now it's like it like almost creates even more of this like pressure and anxiety to be like, and
Yeah.
now I need to keep doing it, and what worked, and okay, now I've had this like taste of this, and so now I need to duplicate that over and over and over, and like what Megan was saying, oftentimes you hit a crash, it stops growing, and then it's like, what do I do now? Instagram changes,
Yeah.
Instagram evolves. Like we were saying, reels were when they were new, that helped a lot of us grow. It allowed us to grow really quickly. It's different now, right? And so it's like, how do I keep up? How do I grow? What do I do? I want that feeling again. And again, that creates this scarcity, this stressed, like feeling when you are showing up on Instagram, which is the last thing you want to do.
Yeah, yeah. We end up chasing that viral moment that we once had, and we get stuck in that and want to relive it, as you're saying, Hannah. And just, I don't feel like sometimes we make the best choices when we're in that moment, but
Oh,
hopefully some of our strategies and tips that we're going to share with you guys. If you guys stay a moment, we have a few strategies and tips that we're going to share with you guys to get past that and make sure that you are doing the right thing in regards to growing on Instagram. But yeah, I see we got a couple thumbs up in the comments, Megan, to your question. Greg put like 6 thumbs up. He fully agrees with you, as well as
Yes.
Angela. So we see that you guys are definitely in alignment with some of the things that we're sharing already. That's awesome. We're going to go to our next question, but before we do, just want to remind you guys once again, this is the Social Roundtable, your weekly live series here on YouTube where myself and Megan invite individuals in the world of social media, marketing, you name it, we bring them on. And today we are so glad to be joined by Sunny Social Collective to discuss how to improve your growth. Right now, the topic is, in case you're just not tuning in, 3.5 sneaky reasons why you can't grow on Instagram. And these are things that you're probably doing today that if you change these behaviors, these methods, these habits, they might start helping to improve your outlook on your Instagram account to start growing better. If you guys are getting any value from this conversation so far, and we know we just started, please do us a favor, hit the like button on our videos so we can get it out to more people to learn from this conversation, as well as if you want more information like this, we do this weekly. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you wouldn't miss any other of our future episodes. Let's get into our next question, ladies. And I'm going to go once again to you, Hannah, in regards to this. Each of us are going to share at least one strategy. We might come back around to you, Hannah, for the extra bonus. Like we said, we have 3.5 reasons why. So we'll come back again to you. But for your first one, Hannah, I got this question lined up for you because I was thinking the other day with over 2 billion active users, growing on Instagram has pretty much become so much harder than ever before. We've kind of all described the good old times of Instagram when it was so much easier to grow when you put out content. But even the biggest accounts nowadays have noticed a decline in growth. So,
Mm.
what are several reasons? Actually, if you can't just share your first one, share one reason why an Instagram account may not be growing today.
I think something, and I've dealt with this personally as well, so I wanna, like, validate how big of an issue this can be without even knowing that you're doing it, is creating content that you think you should be creating, right? You're consuming so much content from social media managers and influencers and other people online that are telling you what you should post, and this is what I did to grow, and you're seeing things even if they're not telling you explicitly this is what you should do. You're seeing things, you're like, oh well, they're getting a lot of engagement here. I need to replicate that, and I need to create that for myself. And so rather being like grounded in your strategy and grounded in who you're speaking to and feeling confident in that, you are looking to everyone else to tell you how you need to do that, right? And what that actually looks like in like specificity sometimes too, like scrolling reels and being like, post 7 days a week, no excuses, post this, this, and this, and you'll grow to 1 million followers and have $1 million in 3 days. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and there's a lot of content out there. And so then you sit down to post and you're like, well, such and such did this and she said to do this and I think I need to do this. And so then you're sitting there and you're creating content that you should create rather than focusing on the voice and the content that is going to connect. And oftentimes this leads to unalignment and inconsistency. And we all know that inconsistency is one of the biggest things that leads to not being able to grow and to be able to connect because you need to show up in a sustainable way. You need to show up in a sustainable and consistent way for yourself and for your audience. And if you're not doing those things and you're posting and it feels like that didn't feel good. Like we've all had posts where we're like, I just need to
Yeah,
post. Like I just need to get this post up
get it
and
out.
such and and then we're like, no one connected with that, and that didn't feel good either. So I think paying attention to if it feels aligned and alignment looks different for a lot of people. I always say like there's metrics outside of numbers that give you a lot of information when you're showing up on social media. Does this feel aligned? Does this feel joyful? Was this hard to do? Was there resistance here? Does it feel like something I can do for a long, like for the next 6 months, for the next year, right? Again, going back to that, posting 7 days a week is probably not the most sustainable and aligned, thing for most of us. It's certainly not for me. And so I think there's a lot of like different check-ins that you can have for yourself in order to see if you are kind of following what everyone else is doing. Something that's helped before I wrap up here is a challenge for you all is to mute the 5 to 10 people that you find yourself comparing yourself to, trying to follow what they're doing, and kind of something that when you're scrolling, you kind of get that feeling in your chest or get that feeling where you're like, You know what I'm saying? Mute them for the next like month minimum and create content from your perspective rather than theirs. So that's a little challenge to add. We're about to go into July 1. So do that today and
That's a
talk to
great
me in
challenge.
August.
That sounds like a really great challenge. I think I might actually take you up on that
Do
myself.
it. Do it.
Awesome. I like that. No, I think you hit a couple great points there in regards to this need to always be consistent, especially when other people are telling us that. Like I was just reading from the live chat, and Greg, I believe it's Greg, yeah, Greg stated he totally agrees with everything that you shared, and said he's so tired of gurus wanting you to buy their strategy system and always telling you that you're doing it wrong, and then they
Yes.
present to you this idea that you need to be posting more, and it's like you could always be posting more. There's no limit, but how much is enough for you? And I like that what you said, Hannah, is the fact that you got to figure it out based on your audience, but you also said based on you,
Mhm.
because that keyword that you mentioned, sustainability, you're ultimately the one creating the content. And I think that's a great way to look at it. Megan, did you have anything else that you would like to add to what Hannah shared?
I mean, I 100% agree. I love muting people. Sorry, but not sorry.
Me too.
It's like it really is so freeing because a lot of the times we're comparing ourselves to the ones that like are always the first ones to pop up because we had been
Mhm.
looking at their stuff before and maybe we went down rabbit holes of that
Mhm.
comparison trap. So, Instagram's algorithm says, "Oh, this person really likes this person. We're going to continue to show them." And you're probably every time going to see like what they're doing, so maybe you should be doing something like them, and so your algorithms are pretty tight. You got to mute them to kind of refresh it. And know that like if they never know if you mute them. Okay. I actually sometimes go through spells of like having to mute so many people that I put it in my notes like who I mute, so I just
Yes.
like I know you can go back in and see mute unmute, but it just helps me. I mean, I'm a notes person, like I love my notes app on my phone. um and then also like you search them and still engage with their stuff. It doesn't mean that you don't love their stuff, like, but
Yeah.
you've got to protect your energy and what you're creating. So I totally agree with that, Hannah. Yeah.
Yeah. Protect your social space. It's your
Yes.
responsibility at the
Yes,
end of the
it's
day. It's for your business. Like,
Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely.
And I actually just put it in the live chat. Hashtag mute Mondays. Let's make it happen. So we're going to get this started.
Oh, I
I
like
love
that.
that. Literally everyone I follow right now is muted. Every single person I follow.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like proud to say that because when I took a break earlier, like last year, and came back in January because I was feeling so much like so burnt out, that I was like, I want to show up on socials with literally no one's opinion but my own. I don't
Mm.
want any impact on the things that I'm creating. I'm doing what I want and I'm doing what feels aligned. And like, I don't need anyone else's influence on me. So just know, like, they're all muted. You could have mute like 5 people today. Like, they're not gonna know.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And the people that you really do enjoy connecting with, like you can just search them and still engage with them.
Yeah,
Like
I do the same thing. Yeah.
yes.
Awesome. Well, that is definitely one way to go about it. We're gonna start that off. Hashtag mute Mondays. Let's see how far we can take it. Let's go to you next, Megan, on the same question, just to remind people for what we're discussing about right now. What are several reasons why an Instagram account may not be growing? I would love to know what's one of yours, Megan.
Well, I can kind of go off of what Hannah said, but we're going to go a little bit different. And that is taking a ton of different random hacks, tips, you know, little pieces of content that you saw other people say you should do and throwing it all together like all at once, just randomly. Today I'm going to do this tip, tomorrow I'm going to do this tip, and you keep throwing random hacks at the wall. None of them are going to continuously take off for you because you're not tracking what is working, what's not working, and
Mm,
you're not building on a foundation of your strategy. That strategy ultimately should be built on the ground of the clarity that you have in who you're speaking to. So if you're not clear on who that is and you haven't built your strategy around that, those people, your goals, and you're just doing random hacks and tips every other day, the next big thing you hear, you're not going to see sustainable results. You might have that one piece of content that goes viral, and then that rest of the week maybe you're doing okay because that algorithm's really continuously pushing out that piece of content, which is great. That's awesome. But then once that fades, what do you have to go back to? You have to have that foundation of your strategy and know how to make these tips work with your niche and with your goals and with like the connection you really want for your audience, not just doing it just for virality.
Yeah.
um, Making sure you have, again, that foundation of your strategy and the clarity on your people.
Mhm.
And I know that's not the sexy stuff, it's not the fun stuff. Nobody likes to sit back and do all that research and really figure out who their target audience is and what their pain points are. And it's not fun. I tell you, to this day, I still get in these ruts where I'm like, no, I know. I don't need to do, like, I don't need to go back to the drawing board and actually do that research and the work. I know what I'm doing. And then I'm like looking at my numbers and go, do I know what I'm doing? Like we have to go
And
back.
then the spiral.
Yeah, exactly. The spiral. How could I ever get out of this? Like, yeah, it's a lot. So sometimes we just have to put our head down and
Mhm.
make sure that we do that back end work. Because again, this is your business. If this is your brand, this is the message you're putting out into the world. I know that you have a purpose behind it. You have a desire to impact people in some way, and help yourself with your goals. And in order to do that sustainably, you have to have a strategy that, yes, can evolve with you. So, yes, it's great to implement new tips, new hacks. It's fun, but don't just do it once and done. Then the next day, another one and done. Try it over time and track it and see what actually works for you.
Yes, absolutely. What you said reminds me. This might sound weird. I'm going to go off a little bit, but because there's a lot of tips, there's a lot of strategy, even on just this very live that we're doing today. You guys are going to
Mhm.
get hit with a lot of different things that you probably never heard of before and say, I want to try that. And there's nothing wrong with trying, but you do have to determine which ones work for you. And I kind of, I kind of apply this to Oprah Winfrey. Back in the day on her show, she used to always have these suggestions of what you should do. And somebody had actually figured out that if you actually did all of those things that she had suggested that you do during her run of her show, you would have no time to do anything else that you want to do.
Mhm.
You can't keep on just simply blindly accepting and doing everything that people tell you to do because you might look at them in a different light because they're a little bit higher than you and where you want to be.
Mhm.
You have to figure out what ultimately works for you, as Megan is stating, because even though it works and even though you might be seeing some results, it might put you in that downward spiral that Hannah kind of mentioned. It might not be for you ultimately because it's not something that you're used to, that you like, that you enjoy. At this point, it just becomes a chore. So you got to figure out what definitely works for you and make the most out of it. And hopefully it can also apply to your audience. And even though you said, Megan, like some of that stuff is not the sexy stuff, you will connect with certain other people that are interested to see how you create that content. That behind the scenes is definitely an aspect that people are interested in. You'll find maybe a small click, but you'll still find some people that will connect with you.
It's true. Very true. Good point.
Looking at a few mentions in the live chat. Angela said, honestly, this is why I'm done with Reels. Going back to live stream. Hey, to each their own, because we know Angela loves going live. That is her
Do
thing, and
it.
that's where she feels most comfortable. So you got to do what works best for you, and you will attract the audience that will vibe with you.
Like, and
Awesome.
exactly that, your audience will sense that. They'll they'll
Yeah.
sense the excitement that you have for that. They'll want to be a part of it because it feels like something that is aligned with you. Like when you're showing up with like excitement and like I want to do this, I get to do this rather than I have to
Hmm.
do this. This is so annoying. I hate this. Real talk and I what's the trending and blah 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 blah. Like no, like people
Yeah.
sense that, right? And so I think yes, Angela, do it. Like go live, sister. Like do what you need to do that feels aligned and just focus on that and the right people will find you. And I think to what Megan was saying about doing that like back end work to like find the target audience and things like that. That was always something when I was starting on Instagram where I was like, okay, like what does that mean? You know, like, okay, yes, I need to do that, but how do I do that, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
where do I start, and what does the steps like look like to do that? And like, and then once I have that, what do I do now? Like, and so there's a lot of that, like we get we apply procrastination because we're like,
Mhm.
we then are like, I don't know how to do that, so I'm not going to do it. That's really vague, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. Like, and so I think that that's something like I personally relate to, and I've heard that a lot in coaching calls. They're like, I know I need to do that. Like, I know I need to create a strategy, and I know I need to have my target audience. But when I like sit down to do it, I'm like, they're 35 and they shop at Target and they live here. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then they're like, okay, so like, what do I do with this information? So you're
Right.
exactly right, Megan, with like, we need to do that, but how? And I think there's a lot of different questions to ask, and there's a lot of information that is super helpful. And I think one of the things is paying attention to what people are responding to. But even then, it's like, what do I do with this? Like, and so I think there's a lot of different ways to measure this, right? And something I created, and it's completely free, so I'll send it to Megan and Heston. Like, I created a target audience like worksheet so you could like literally go down the line and it's like prompting you instead of it being like, how old are they? It's like, like what it like certain values. It's diving deep into values. It's diving deep into
Hmm.
personality and what they're attracted to and things like that. So I'll send that to y'all so anyone can use
Yeah.
that because
I love
it's
that.
a starting point at least. Like because I literally was like, what are we doing? Like I don't know who I'm talking to. And so I know how overwhelming that can be as well. So I'll make sure and share that too. Because I know that
Awesome.
can be helpful. But
Thank you. Thank
Awesome.
you.
anyways.
Awesome. Yeah, I think you guys are getting some great value in regards to this conversation all about the 3.5 sneaky reasons why you may not be growing on Instagram. We shared a few. I want to share my own. It's probably something that you probably heard before. So consider this a reminder. All right. Because we get so caught up on social media with all of these tips and to do this and to do that, that sometimes we forget we're on social media and we're not being social. We're so focused on creating the content, what time to post, where to put this on the reel, what type of hook to use, that we also forget this is social media. We need to be engaging with others because that is how we find our people. And I think that we've gotten to this point where we're just so focused on the content creation and all the tactics and the techniques and strategies that we forgot after we post that content, maybe we should actually be responding to people that are engaging with it. If somebody comments on our content, we should comment back and do it in a way that starts an actual conversation, a genuine conversation. So, my tip is to start engaging again because with social media is reciprocal. What you give is what you get. The more likes, the more comments, the more shares you give, you're more likely to get that back. So there's a strategy, or I don't know if it's a strategy, it's a practice of posting and ghosting.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, we know that that's a bad thing. You shouldn't post and ghost because you leave your audience. But then there's other aspects of it that we don't even consider, and we're kind of doing it anyway. With auto schedulers, when we
Yeah.
use auto schedulers, which is not a bad thing, I am not trying to say auto schedules are bad, but what usually happens is, if I time it for 9 a.m., I'm not on Instagram at 9 a.m. with my content posts. So for those that engage with it, I'm not engaging back. I'm doing whatever else I was doing at 9 a.m., but being on the platform where my content was at its most peak with during engagement. So we have to look at some of these tools sometimes, even how we're using it to realize we might not be doing as good as we think that we're doing. We might be doing ourselves a little bit of a disservice if we're not actually engaging at certain points with our content, with those that are responding to our content, our audience. So, you know, I want to say, I just want to give a couple of ways that I do this because I know people are going to start saying, well, I don't have enough time to do this. You're trying to tell me I got to go and start replying all the time and this and the third. I'll give you a couple of ideas of how I do it. Like, I'm a parent, my daughter goes to school, and I pick her up in school. So there's car line. What I usually find myself in car line for like 10, 15 minutes. And during that time, I spend time on IG stories just engaging with anybody to let that time go. So I'm finding moments during the day that is usually just being wasted. If I'm in the car and I have my phone, I'm not driving, I am parked. I want to remind you guys that. But I spend some time on Instagram in that way. Another way that I'll actually do it is if my lunch is warming up, put it in the microwave. That's a quick 3 minutes I can spend responding to DMs that people have sent me during the day. I'm finding time to actually engage throughout the day instead of letting these moments just go past. And you could find that in everybody's day. Don't tell me that you don't have enough time. There is some moment in time that you can find a quick 5 minutes to respond to, whether it's comments, DMs, or even share a few couple pieces of content to others. We got to engage again on social media and be social once more. That's my piece in regards to that. I don't know if anybody had anything else to add to that.
Well, something like, because I'm pro auto schedule, right? Like, I'm pro use a tool because a lot of times, especially if we have like nerves around socials, it can help to prep. Schedule, forget about it. But you're
Mhm.
exactly right, Heston. What you need to do is, instead of posting and ghosting, is if you have like kind of a consistent posting time where you know it fits into your schedule. It's not 7 a.m. when you're getting the kids ready for school. It's not 5 p.m. when you're sitting
Yeah.
down to dinner. And you have kind of this general time where you know you can get on. You set an alarm on your phone. If it's already scheduled, you're good to go. You set that like consistent alarm. Engage with comments, engage with DMs, whatever you want. So you have that dedicated time. It's like literally, like Hester was saying, 5 to 10 minutes. You get on, you're responding to comments, you're engaging with other people, you're making sure your DMs are answered. And I love that, like, for me, I love that, like, being able to sit down and do it kind of not all at once, but a couple times throughout my day, because it feels like I'm able to put so much more quality into it and like intentionality into it, rather than like my notifications just going off all day long and I'm like trying to do it like in between meetings and like, you know what I'm saying, where it's just distracting me and it's just bombarding me all day. I'm able to sit down and like answer DMs and answer comments in a way that feels like has that like connection point with it, you know? So I love that. Be social on social media. It helps, I promise.
Yes, for sure. I would also add that, it is that quality of the engagement, like both Heston and Hannah just said, the importance of making sure that, you're not just engaging to engage, right? It's not a
Yeah.
checkbox like, okay, I engage with X
Yeah.
amount of accounts. Like I've actually, taught that for a lot of my students in the past is I give them a checklist of how many people to engage with. And yes, it's helpful when you are creating that habit, but I always say more than getting that quantity, make sure you're focusing on the quality. If you're supposed to, comment on X amount of people's stuff today, I'd rather you do half the amount, but give full quality connection in that engagement and that you actually care about what you're commenting. So if it's a piece of content that you just think you should engage with, but you don't actually have something to add, or you don't genuinely believe like, wow, this post is really great, then don't do it. Like it's
Yeah.
not going to be worth it because that's going to be felt as well. So such a good tip there, Heston, and to make sure that we go back to the basics of, why you're here in the first place, and it is to connect with others.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to add on to something that I noticed in the live chat. Our one of our favorite viewers, Greg, mentioned something. He said the problem is that everyone is using automations and people know it. It's getting harder and harder to
Mm,
get real people anymore. And you know what? I gotta say, speaking as somebody that specializes in DM automation with ManyChat, I 100% agree with you, Greg. I absolutely
mhm.
agree that a lot of people are, first off, I think they're using the tool wrong because
Yeah.
they're using it as a crutch and they're depending on it to actually start the conversation, but they don't continue the conversation. They kind of just leave it right there so that they could quickly send the link. And I think that's a problem when we start looking at these automations as an assistant rather than a replacement. We start to realize, okay, this assistant can help get the conversation started. Out, the assistant will send the deliverable, but then you should come in and continue the conversation because although they got something from you, they might just leave. Hey, deuces, I got my freebie. I'm gone. But if you go
Yeah.
into the DM, you go into the DM and say, hey, I see that you got my freebie. What do you like about it? Is there something that I could help you with? And if you even do this with a voice message, that's next level, because now they're getting to
Um,
learn how you sound, your cadence in regards to how you speak. You stopped and showed them that you cared enough to send them a quick 10 or 15-second message to follow up. Sometimes when I do that, people are so surprised. They think that even the voice message is automated. I'm like, no, this is me. And I'll say their name in the voice message just to make sure, hey, this is me. But yeah, give them a little bit extra, and that's all socializing. That's going a little bit extra effort, and they remember that, and it pays off in the long run.
mhm.
So I hope that's another aspect to it as well, Greg. I appreciate your comment in regards to that. And I came up with another one for you guys. So as we're talking about, don't post and ghost. How about auto post but do the most?
Heston, you're on
Do
it
the most.
today.
I know,
I'm
I love
on it.
it. I love it so much. And I love a
Yeah,
voice
we want.
message.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Me
Yep.
and Megan, me and Megan voice, all of our DMs is just like voice message, voice message, voice message, voice
I
message.
think it saves time because I'm like
Me
doing things.
too.
I don't have to sit there and type. Like I am a voice message queen.
No, yeah. I'm like on my walk. I'm like making my lunch. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, hey
Yeah.
Meg. I'm literally when I voice messaged you, Meg, for this call, I was on
Yeah.
the treadmill at the gym.
Yes, it's right. You were, yeah. 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 I'm always like, I'm sorry, I'm out of breath. Like I'm walking. I'm just I should be in better shape than this, shouldn't I? But I'm not.
Sorry, you hear my washing machine in the back. Like, I'm just,
Yeah.
folding some towels.
Yeah.
Oh, but it
Well,
is
I
nice.
think
It
we
really is.
we got three tips out of the way. What we're gonna do, cause we're near the top of the hour, we want to make sure we're being respectful to everybody's time. We're gonna go back around one more time to Hannah because we said 3.5 bonus. The bonus is the half. So Hannah, do you have something to share with the audience that's that extra oomph that's gonna help them start to increase their growth on Instagram?
Yeah, well, first I want to say thank you so much for having me on. I love to yap and talk about this kind of stuff. And like, I just want everyone to know, like, you're doing a great job. And I think at the end of the day, like, you're showing up. And if you're doing that, like, that's something to be proud of. Like, there's so many people who are just scared to do that. And again, that's super valid. So if you're showing up and you're like putting effort into your social media, for your business or for whatever it is for, like, I'm really proud of you. And like, I think that's something to be proud of for yourself. And we've shared a lot today. And so instead of sharing just like another tip to throw at you, I actually want to share just a couple of like almost like journal prompts or like questions to ask yourself to leave you with today. So the first one is in regards to like imposter syndrome. I know that's something that I felt a lot, and many people feel that, whether you know it or not. So one of the first things I want you to ask yourself to add to your list of homework, other than muting people and engaging, is if it didn't feel like I had to prove anything online, how would I show up? Let me make my screen bigger. How would I show up? What would I create? What would I share just because it feels true to who I am and the work I love? What moments, experiences, or qualities already make me a powerful blank? How would I show? Sorry, my screen is so small. I'm like, whether,
No
what
worries.
what moments, experiences, or qualities already make me a powerful blank, whether or not anyone sees them? Where do I feel confident? Where do I feel most confident in my process? And how can I start showing that side more often? What would it look like to create from trust, not comparison? So those are just a few questions like I want you to ask yourself. Like I want you to like really do it. Like get grounded
Yeah.
in that. Like what is like holding you back in that way? So many of the times I hear in coaching calls and in just like conversations with people is like I know I need to do that. Like I know I need to do this and this and this. And they do. Like they know what it takes, right, to grow on social media. And so 90% of my calls are spent addressing this rather than like the actual action of it.
Mm,
It's addressing the
Yep.
comparison, it's addressing the imposter syndrome. It's addressing these like, well, I know I needed to do that. I'm like, wow, why aren't we, right? Like what is
yeah.
actually the root of that? And so many times it's like this fear, it's comparison, it's not feeling confident, it's acting from a place of distrust in yourself and outsourcing your worth to others. And so that's what I want to leave y'all with. Because I butchered reading that because I was reading off of this, I'll make sure and give them Heston and Meagen that as well. Because that's also a lot to remember. But I'll give them that so you guys can work on that in your time today with all the time you have.
Thank you. Yes. I mean, it's about prioritizing it, right? If everyone's always saying, I want to grow, I want to grow, I want to grow, you got to do a little bit of that back end work if you want it.
Seriously, though, like, speaking from experience, my mindset was a huge barrier to showing up in an authentic way on social media. And I don't think a lot of people think that because, again, going back to what we talked about at the beginning, we're chasing that quick, instant gratification. And a lot of times that doesn't come. So.
Absolutely. But as you guys are all saying, we put in the work and we put in the extra effort to see if we could actually make some of these dreams and goals come true. So that is our conversation about the 3.5 sneaky reasons why you may not be growing on Instagram. We hope that you guys have got a lot of great content and insight, context, I should say, context and insight in regards to this conversation. It's something that we know is going to come up all the time. We want to know how to grow on Instagram. It's not easy. This is harder now than it's ever been on Instagram, but it's not impossible. And hopefully, with the steps that we shared here today, you guys could take it, run with it, and as I always say, step your gram up in the best way possible. We are at the top of the hour, but I do want to make sure that we play the game. We do like to play a little game here, Hannah, with our guests
No.
and with those that are watching. It's a little quick game. There's no right or wrong question.
No.
There's no right or wrong question.
No one's ever
We like to
said
have a little
no.
bit of fun. She was about to be like, I'm out.
Wait, you just like frozen, like pretend your connection's.
Well, we're gonna have Meagen lead us in a little quick game that we like to play. There's no right or wrong answer to these questions. And for you guys watching, we would love for you guys to jump in as well. You can put your answers in the live chat. So, Meagen, you could take it away.
Awesome. Okay. Well, since we are running out of time here, we will do one question instead of two, but trying to choose the better one of the two I have picked. Oh boy, that's hard. That's hard. I'll just have to save it for the next episode. So, would you rather A, never have to write another caption again, or B, never have to edit another video again? Hannah, what's your answer?
B.
You got that really one. Quick.
B.
Okay.
If I could just like take what's in my brain and it could just edit it for me, yes. Thank you.
Yes. Hey, we'll get there one day, I bet.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah. My robot.
Yeah. Heston, what would you say?
I'm gonna agree, but I'm really more interested to know why Hannah chose B because. And for those of you guys who have not seen Hannah's videos, her videos are amazing. You have some really great, captivating reels. So I'm really surprised that you chose B. I thought you would have went with A. I feel like you're, at least watching your videos, that you're more in love with the video editing aspect.
I love to create videos. Like, I love to like shoot it and think through it and film it. The editing. It was the specific never having to edit again. That sold me because I love to. I mean, that's part of my job is creating content for businesses. I just did a wedding on Saturday where I was creating content, but today I have to edit it. I have to go through, and I'm like, if I didn't have to do that, that would save me a lot of time. So that's why.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, though.
I feel that for sure. I know. I actually, when I do like the content for my clients too, it's like so excited to come up with the ideas, so exciting to actually, go and take the content.
Yeah.
And then when I get home, some reason it's like that step of like starting the editing process that I'm like, there's too much. But once I start, I'm like, oh, this is fun. And I spend way too much time playing with it.
Yes. Like you have so much content and you're like, okay, how do I need to put this together? How can I take what's in my brain and turn it into what I want it to be? Like, and then it just takes 12 hours to edit one thing, like,
Right. Oh yeah, I've had those reels for sure. Actually, after this, I'm getting back to a reel that's been taking me for a while.
Can't wait to see it.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Everyone support that one, okay? No, I'm just kidding.
We will.
Oh,
All right.
yeah, thank
Quick
you.
question. Quick question in the live chat. This is only for Hannah because the question is, do you have a team? Greg, I believe, or Angela's asking, do you have a team to help you with video editing?
No, it's just me.
Just
It's
me.
just me. I've had that when I was doing full service social media management. I had a Reels editor that would handle those because I work with photographers, so they're very like photo heavy, video heavy reels. But right now, post break, I scaled back to just me, and I've been really enjoying that. Um, but it is a lot. So if anyone has any ideas for me, you just let me know, or an AI robot that can do it for me.
All
Ah.
right. Well, with that being said, I think we are at the end of our live. We want to say thank you to everybody that joined us for this incredible episode on 3.5 Sneaky Reasons Why Your Instagram is Not Growing. We got some great tips. Oh, we got the selfie. All right. Or the Elsie. The Elsie.
You'll
Awesome.
see it.
Well, all of the links are in the description, including links to Hannah's stand store and her Instagram. And we have all of that in the description. So if you want to learn a little bit more about Hannah, as well as myself, Megan, and our incredible moderator in the live chat, Angela, all of our links are in the YouTube description. You can come and join our respective communities. Um, Hannah, I'm going to give you a moment to share, along with those links, if there's anything coming up that the audience should be aware of. As I try to get your, if I let me see if I can get this on the screen, but you could go ahead and share where they can find you and what
You
you're up
can
to.
find me at Sunny Social Collective on Instagram every Thursday. Trending audio links. All you have to do is comment a sun and you get it. Um, Going to be launching a bio glow up where we sit for 45 minutes and almost like FaceTime call, and we just like workshop your bio to make sure it's optimized. It's talking to your audience. That's something I'm super excited about. But in the it's summer, so summer is a time to play and have fun and to be in the sun. And so, other than that, not much new is coming because I like to enjoy it, and that's the perk of being a business owner, right? Is actually enjoying
Yes.
the freedom that you get with it. So that's all for me.
Yes.
And speaking of
That is
social
for
media
sure.
breaks, I'm starting one tomorrow for the week. So I'll see y'all next week.
Well, awesome, awesome.
But enjoy,
Thank
enjoy.
you.
And I'm so glad that you were able to join us right before you went on your social media break. So thank
It's
you
a good
once
way to
again,
do it.
guys. The links are in the description. Check out Hannah, also known as Sunny Social Collective. Make sure you guys follow her, as well as my co-host Megan. What are you up to? Where can the people find you?
Yes, well, you guys can find me Instagram, YouTube, Threads, Facebook. I've been crushing it on Facebook lately, actually. So,
Ooh,
like my
okay.
page, yeah, part of the breakthrough bonus with Facebook and Meta overall, and it's been a challenge. So come check me out there. And yeah, I just excited for next week because we're here every Monday.
Yes, yes. Thanks for that little reminder to remind you guys we are here every Monday. This is the Social Roundtable. I am Hassan of Social Varsity. As you can probably see on my hat. I specialize in DM automation and many chats. So if you're interested to learn how to work smarter and not harder by using DM automation and get the conversation started so that you could go in and be social, I'm your guy. So please check out my links also in the description on Instagram, Threads. I love Threads right now. And of course, YouTube. Once again, if you're watching us on YouTube right now, hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any of our future episodes. And once again, shout out to Angela, our moderator. I think that's it, guys. We are all done. We are ready to get out of here. We hope you guys have a great week, and we will see you guys on Monday. Until then, take care and have a great one. All right, guys.
Bye.
Bye. 3.5 Sneaky Reasons Why You Can't Grow on Instagram. There's a lot more to be shared about